And now to Torbay, which, like many resorts in the region, is heavily reliant on its tourism and hospitality industry. It's been a very tough year, but today's lifting of restrictions should mark a turning point for the Bay and see it get back to some kind of normality. But has that been the case? John Ayres is live in Torquay for us this evening. John.
Yes, now today should be a day of great celebration, but with soaring infections, actually there's a lot more caution here in Torbay. The big fear is that if staff get pinged, businesses will have to close, so that the message that's coming out is that this will be the responsible Riviera. The sun's out, the restrictions are lifted. A perfect day for Torbay, you would think. But there's still plenty of confusion about what you can and cannot do.
It's quite interesting. You don't know whether you're supposed to put a mask on or you're not supposed to put a mask on. But otherwise it doesn't feel very different.
You've got the mask on in the pubs, you can't breathe in this weather, it's hot. And now you haven't got the mask. It's a lot better.
It should be the day when businesses return to normal, but the so-called pingdemic has made life difficult.
For business owners, it's an absolute nightmare because all of our staff are getting pinged and told to self-isolate. We haven't got staff to run our venues. There's people walking around with no masks on all over the place as if there's nothing wrong. I don't think the government knows what's going on, and I don't think the public know what's going on at the minute.
To wear or not wear a mask, that is the question. With the public split on the issue, shop owners are concerned that it will cause conflict.
We know we're going to get people kicking off about not wearing their masks. If we do decide to go, we have to still wear masks inside, which I don't think we will. We'll probably go no mask and we'll have to deal with it a different way. But we'll still ask people to hand sanitise.
Torbay Council's providing extra cleaning and resources to keep people safe. The motto here is Responsible Riviera.
We're keen for everybody to have fun in the glorious weather and the rest of the summer that we're having in Torbay, but staying safe, keeping that social distancing because the virus is still with us, sadly. With fewer people going abroad this summer, this should be a bumper year for holiday providers. Beverley Park is very busy.
It's great for them to try out us and also the English Riviera. It is absolutely beautiful. There's so much to do. The coastline is absolutely gorgeous, and the coastal walking and things like that. And a lot of customers are coming here for the first time, absolutely loving it, and they will be booking again next year, which is wonderful.
Everyone here is hoping we won't go back into lockdown. The way things pan out in the next few weeks will be crucial. I'm joined now by Carolyn Custerson of the English Riviera Bid Company. Good evening to you. We heard Claire Flower there talk about new visitors and just how important they are this year in particular. Talk to me about that. Why is it so important?
This summer is critically important to the English Riviera. COVID continues to have a massive impact on our local businesses, but there is, as Claire has highlighted, a major opportunity for the resort. We are seeing record numbers of visitors, and when we analyse where those visitors are coming from, the majority are new visitors to the resort who haven't been able to travel abroad this year. So if we manage to win their hearts and minds and they get back home and recommend the English Riviera, Devon, the Southwest to their friends and family, this will be a great legacy for COVID.
And briefly, we also heard there one of the big problems is staff at hospitality places are being pinged. They're worried about closing. What are you calling for that could change that?
There's one thing that could change this, and we have been lobbying government for the last 10 days, and that is for test and release. If we don't seriously look at what's happening, we're going to see more businesses be forced to close. Fortunately, the English Riviera has hundreds of different restaurants and accommodation providers, so the impact is minimal, but for the businesses concerned, it's major, and they lose tens of thousands of pounds when they're forced to close.
Carolyn, thank you very much. Well, of course, this will all depend on how people behave, so we're just keeping our fingers crossed that people are sensible.
John Ayres, thank you very much. Well, the lifting of restrictions today is definitely dividing opinions. Thank you for all of your emails. Ben's here now to go through some of them. Ben?
Yes, thank you, Victoria. We'll have the latest figures in just a moment, but first, those emails. And Brian says, about time, personal responsibility at last. I can take responsibility for my own health and have the common sense to assess the situation. Nick says no immediate lifting of restrictions should have got the green light until the spread of infections is seen to be significantly dropping. This one from Ian, who says, it's great to see people enjoying themselves again. Too many anxious people wanting to lock everyone up again. We have to live with this because it's not going to vanish. And finally, one here from Jane, who says, I've been shielding since February last year. I feel abandoned and don't know where to turn. Well, Andrew in Brixham has a lung condition and is disappointed mask wearing isn't mandatory, but he is comforted by the conduct of local traders.
I'm very pleased to see that a lot of the businesses in Brixham are posting on Facebook that they're not changing their policies at all. They still want you to wear a mask when you go in. They're still doing the table service. So places like the Guardhouse at Bury Head, the Prince William, have all posted on Facebook saying, despite what the government has said, there's no change for them.
Well, Bev is a care home manager in Barnstaple, feeling nervous and still asking visitors to wear face coverings.
I think it's going to be a long time before we're comfortable with not wearing masks and taking precautions, simply because I think COVID's going to be around. I know we've got to learn to live with it, and I know the vaccines are minimising people going into hospital and serious illnesses and all that, but we are trying to prevent even that, really, even anybody catching it that lives at this home.
Now, our infection rate tracking graph, and you can see Devon's line in red at the top there, now above the England average with 472 cases per 100,000 people in the week to last Thursday. The England figure was 470. Plymouth currently top of the southwest table with 774 cases per 100,000 people. Only 17 councils in England have a higher rate. And notice in the two left-hand columns, the number of new cases in the city has doubled week on week. But the southwest arrives at this point on the government's roadmap with the highest vaccination rates in England. More than 68% of adults now protected by both doses of the vaccine, and the rates higher still in those most at risk of developing severe symptoms, the over 50s. And the number of people in hospital on mechanical ventilation is much lower than it was last time infection rates were this high. 6 last Tuesday, down from 72 in January. Victoria.
Ben, thank you very much. Well, Dr Bharat Pankhania from Exeter Medical School is a familiar face to us now. Thank you for joining us again here on Spotlight. Today will have not come soon enough for some people. Others will be very apprehensive. From a medical perspective, what are your thoughts about today?
I feel that we need a lot of caution. We have dropped our guard in several places. So we've opened up and removed all restrictions. We've removed mandatory infection control measures and made them voluntary against a background of a rise, almost an exponential rise in number of cases.
But can you appreciate why lots of people are really eager to get back to some sort of normal?
I do, and I have a lot of sympathy for them, and I want to make their lives safe too. And therefore, the best way forward would be go careful, go cautious, don't drop your guard. And if you haven't been immunized, it is imperative, absolutely imperative, that you go and get yourself immunized before you start socializing.
Weddings are now full steam ahead, as we've been hearing in the programme. Nightclubs reopening after many, many months of lockdown. You can now order a drink at the bar. What situations, though, would concern you most about people getting involved in terms of their health and safety?
So the nightclubs worry me a lot because it's loud music, lots of people, confined space, ideal ingredients for the transmission of infection, which is aerosol spread through the air. So wherever there are crowds and wherever there are unimmunized people, I would be very concerned.
I just went to the supermarket at lunchtime and there were lots and lots of people still wearing masks. What is the best way to protect ourselves still?
Well, I've also been advising that in view of the more infectious variant, the Delta variant, we up our infection control measure and wear a better quality mask. So only today, for example, I tweeted pictures of myself wearing a FFP2 mask, which I ordered for myself and the family. So I think we should up our game and wear better quality masks like the FFP2 masks, especially in crowded places, buses, trains, and wherever there are crowds.
Obviously, you teach lots of youngsters at the Exeter Medical School. What are you saying to them at the moment about the current situation? What's your advice to them?
I say to them, good times will return. It is an absolute promise. And I say, in the meantime, take precautions, don't get infected. I don't want you to have long COVID. You've got a long medical career ahead of you. Stay well, stay protected. And I promise you, I absolutely promise you, better times will arrive.
Dr. Bharat Pankhania, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Well, and your emails still keep coming in. Annabelle, thank you. With the expected hordes of people visiting Cornwall in my local area, I'll be spending more time at home. In my local village, visitors are not wearing masks and not distancing. And this one from Angie, who says she travelled this afternoon from Westwood Ho on the bus. I was one of 13 people who got on, and I was the only person wearing a mask. I felt very uncomfortable and was glad to get off at my stop. Thank you for those emails. Spotlight@bbc.co.uk.